What's going on, guys? Wade here. I am the Millennial Stone Cleaner, and we are out in the abandoned cemetery again today. We have a special guest joining us a little bit later, and we're going to get out and work on some of these headstones before winter hits. We are super close to having winter hit. We've got a gorgeous day today, so stay tuned. Brush for you.
How you sprayed it
Yeah, so I've already sprayed it.
a
And
long
then
time ago or today?
Today, yep. So we just need to add some water to it. So I've already sprayed this. I'm gonna let you work on the inscription there. So I've already come through and I've already inspected this to make sure that it's safe to clean, that there's not any cracks or issues. We certainly don't wanna like lean on it and add a bunch of weight to it.
Yeah.
We've got light, soft bristle brushes. We're gonna clean it with some water. And so I'll let you take the water, the wand there, and you can spray that down, just douse the whole thing with it. Get it all nice and damp. So you guys, I told you guys that there was going to be a special visitor today. This is Kat. Kat volunteers with the same cemetery that I do a lot of work in, and we met a number of weeks ago, and she leads a Women in History tour at one of our historic cemeteries, and she wanted to come out and learn a little bit about headstone cleaning because there's some stones on her tour that she would love to do some work on. And so I'm like, we've got this abandoned cemetery, we've got a lot of work to do, so come on out, let's check this out. So actually, why don't you hit me with a little water down here and I'll work on this section and you can work on that inscription up there. So you've done a little headstone cleaning before, so you know, just light pressure, scrubbing on the dirt. And this is all dirt. There's really not any biological growth on it. There's a little bit in a few places, but like we're just gonna clean the whole thing wherever you see the dirt, and then we'll just keep rinsing with water as we go. So Kat, you're an educator in town as well. What do you teach?
I teach high school, and I teach middle school 8th graders and all levels of high school, social studies, and as well as intersectional feminism, which is something that I'm very passionate about, and so I'm really excited about next year's tour and our second season offering that in Des Moines.
So you started a tour, what, like a year ago?
Yes.
So what got you into cemeteries and wanting to do a tour in a cemetery, and how does that relate back to the work that you're doing with your students? If at all.
Oh my gosh, it certainly does, well, history is certainly something that I'm passionate about, and I think especially women's history, we don't we don't talk enough about the incredible, incredible women and all they did for society. And I don't know, I guess I've always liked cemeteries, and I feel like it's a good, like, mix together about history and thinking about the context of what's happened so long ago. And I'm just really excited to be able to have the tour and showcase some of the women, but also get involved with more projects like this, because I feel like it's like another aspect of caring for history, I guess, and caring for the people that came before us. So not only like repeating their stories and sharing the incredible things that they did in their lifetime, but I feel like this is just kind of another way to honor them and what they did before us. So
That's awesome. So, is there a particular person on the tour that is sort of a focal person? Like, you're probably leading like what, an hour, 2 hour type of tour, and it's a big cemetery, right?
it is.
Like, there's a lot of folks.
Big cemetery.
How
And
did you?
there is not enough time even, and I mean 50,000 people are buried there. So it's incredible to think about. I guess Annie Savory, I talk a lot about Annie Savory, and her
Who is
being
Annie?
a suffragette. Annie Savory was a suffragette that was born in London in 1836, and she eventually came to Des Moines, and she married, and
You're
she-
totally slacking over here, by the way.
I'm sorry. There's a lot going on.
I know. There you go.
And you gave me the fun part too.
I know. I tried to hook you up with the inscription so I could.
You did.
I could.
You gave me the fun part.
So you guys, I'm working on the part that's actually going to be buried right back in the ground, because this part's going to be hidden. So I'm cleaning it just to bury it again. Gave her that cool part. And this is Jonathan Brunner, Brunner, Jonathan Brunner, and it's got this gorgeous willow tree here in the center of it, just underneath the name. Pretty cool.
Oh my God, that is a
Symbolism.
willow tree. I did not realize
Yeah.
that.
So I didn't mean to distract you from the Savory family. So you said that she was born in London?
She was born in London in 1836, and she came over to the United States and settled in Des Moines and married into the Savory family. At the time, she was on her way to becoming a well-known suffragette, well-known as Susan B. Anthony, etc. But unfortunately, she agreed with another famous suffragette at the time named Victoria Woodall, and she agreed with her in terms of the free love movement, and that women should, not necessarily what it meant in the 60s and the 70s, but that women should have the freedom to marry, have children, and divorce with less government interference. And she also believed that anybody, regardless of quote-unquote moral standing, should be able to join the suffragist movement, no matter. And that was a little bit too radical at the time. Unfortunately, she was kind of ousted from the local suffragist movement by Martha Callanan. So there was a little divide there.
I bet we could look at history in a lot of places where even within a particular movement, there's going to be other factions. Not everyone's going to
gosh,
not everyone's
yes.
going to agree completely
Certainly,
about everything.
Certainly. Nobody agrees about anything ever. And certainly even now. Wow. You're fast.
Yeah. There's a difference between the way that I clean and certain folks, because I'm all about like the overall conservation of the stones versus just the cleanliness of them. So I look at this as like, yep, it's a job, I need to get it done, but also I've got 100 of them to do. And so if I had all the time in the world, I would certainly spend time agonizing over one little spot. But because I've done it so much, like I love every stone. Like they're great. It's like, oh, like wow, that's so cool. Like, oh, the willow tree. Oh, look at how this one's coming up. Oh, this is neat. I look at the cleanliness and the work that's involved in it as like, yep, there's so much to do, because I've been here working for weeks and yet I still haven't touched these other than bringing them out of the ground, right? Like they're not clean. I haven't done anything with them. I've done all the other stuff. So, you know, I could be here years if I
could
took
be
too much
here
of it.
years.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Wow, that is a willow tree. I did not see that.
Do you know the symbolism behind it?
No.
I don't
Tell
know.
me. Oh, no.
I know it's a thing, I just don't know. So we've got Jonathan Brunner died,
Wow.
was it April?
April 22nd.
April 22nd, 1855.
Wow.
And then I can't tell quite here. Is it 27? Is that what you see? Yeah, that's a 2. That's probably a 7. Yeah. Yeah, that looks right. Well, so the cool thing about genealogy is that really anybody, anywhere, for the most part, we can find information. So even if they're not a famous person, we can at least find census records and...
That's the thing. I need avenues to search.
Yep.
I'm not sure about that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so Annie Savory is an example. Like she's a prominent woman that has some documentation behind her, but I bet you haven't found every last bit of things, and that's where
Oh, certainly.
I hope
not.
people can hear over the cars, but basically, you know, you work in a school system and you have a library and access to that type of information, or if you've been in graduate school, you're used to having access to those types of resources. And so from a genealogy perspective, you're going to have lots of information available to you as well, just different sources,
Yeah.
depending upon the era and kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the beginning for sure.
Okay. I'm going to work on the backside here.
Yay, I get the fun part.
What's that?
Yay, you're so nice. I get the fun part.
Yeah. So who else on your tour? Well, let me ask you this. How did you get started in your tour? Like did you call somebody? Did you like so for people that want to go out and volunteer,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter what it is, but like in the sense that we're talking about history, so people that are interested
Yeah.
in history, it doesn't have to be that you're interested in cemeteries, although you are watching a cemetery YouTube channel right now, but where did you go and who did you talk to and what was that process like for you as a young adult that was interested in history? You're not necessarily a professional tour guide because like, you know,
No.
that's
Well,
not a major in
I'm
college.
a teacher, am I though?
Right.
I might be.
Tour guide to life.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of responsibility. I enjoyed going to Woodland, and I saw that there were signs up that with a number to call and try to, like, we wanted to volunteer. And so I called and I wanted to volunteer, but it was also during COVID as well. So it was a little tricky. But I actually worked at a restaurant in Des Moines, and I was talking to the owner about how much I enjoyed the cemetery and how much I would love to volunteer. And he actually got me in touch with the Des Moines Parks Department with Ganesh. From there, I was invited to go to a Civil War tour and to check it out. And I was going to volunteer originally to do kind of research and help with the QR codes is what I wanted to do, because I thought it was a really wonderful project to bring technology and get people interested in the stories and the cemetery and the people that live there. They do actually.
Good cemetery joke, right?
They do live there. They do live there. Yeah. But yes, I wanted to get involved, and I went to a Civil War tour, and it was very interesting, but I kind of realized, wow, I would never know enough about weaponry to be able to give an enthusiastic tour and explain the ins and outs of all the things that people would want to know the answer to. However, I did meet Lorna, and Lorna has the records and the archives for the Des Moines Women's Club. So over a year. We met, got together, and created a tour. And so since then, we've held our tour 4 times, and it's had really great results. We were in Axios, and people are interested, and I'm really excited to give it again this next year with more dates.
So you probably tell this to your students as well, but I think what we're ultimately saying is if you're passionate about something, follow your passion, and the results are going to follow.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
This is also why I haven't historically done a lot of work next to this road, is that it's so loud that
Yeah.
from a recording perspective, it's really challenging. Like the mics do a good job of like keeping things pretty isolated to just us, but you're still going to get road noise. So like I've been through here and filmed before, and like my opening video that I did out here, I walked around and I certainly was over in this section, and you could tell in the audio like that there's road noise, but it's not as bad as when you're like just sitting here. But it's a lot.
Wow.
How you doing over here? Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, it does. It really does. This is awesome.
So who is this? I see Sergeant.
Samuel Barkus. I don't know. Let's find out.
Samuel Barkus. He was in the company C of the 121st Infantry. Indiana.
I was just gonna say, is that Indiana?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about.
Indiana Infantry. And he's buried right next to Rachel and William
Mm-hmm.
of the same last name. Good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, the rest of that's on there will clean up over time.
Really?
That'll be something that when you come back here in the springtime, that'll be looking sharp.
How? Is there? That's not water.
Well, we'll spray it later. Yeah. So
Oh.
we use just straight water to clean this. There wasn't
Okay.
anything other than water.
Yeah.
But we will spray it. I have gone through the entire cemetery and sprayed one application of a biocide out there, the quaternary ammonia that we typically use for everything. And so that's been applied to everything. So that's helping with some of the cleaning. It's late in the season, but that stuff works over time. So I'll probably hit it with another application here in a few weeks, maybe.
Wow. Awesome. You think it's done?
Nice job. Yeah, looks good to me.
Wow. That does look awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out to the abandoned cemetery today and putting your tour together.
More things to come.
Absolutely.